Okay, it's the end of another week, and I was really struggling with what to tell you all because it's hot and it's summer and everyone's on vacation, so unfortunately, not much is going on. That being said, this is the north side of the property. We are talking to somebody about moving our septic from around the corner to here because where the septic is currently at is apparently way too close to the house. So it needs to get moved and upgraded and everything, and that's where they decided would be best. This has become a dumping ground. We always knew it would be, so we are planning on basically demolishing about half of this and bringing it significantly further back, which we're hoping would then allow us to park the 2 cars in here if we wanted to. In the house, the utility room is basically done. Obviously we need to put like the outlets and things of that nature in, and we need to pop out where the lights are gonna go. But for the most part, once the electrical is done, this is done, and then we're just gonna slap a coat of base primer paint on it and call it a day. In the kitchen already has a coat of the base primer plate, and we are probably going to paint, but that will be after the cabinets get put in. So we're gonna have lower cabinets. Well, we're gonna have a fridge, if this will focus for y'all. We'll have a fridge, which is why we have a water hookup here. We'll have a counter, stovetop, sink, dishwasher, and then on this side we'll have more cabinets and a set of upper cabinets, stairs, wood stairs to get into the dining room. Then she doesn't need any stairs. In the dining room, nothing much is gonna happen. We're gonna obviously pull in the new electrical, finish taking down the rest of the wallpaper. And this room, since it's actually been sheetrocked, we may end up just painting this room rather than putting up wallpaper. We haven't decided. In this room, we are definitely doing wallpaper. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of damage. There's a lot of like really old wallpaper that's proving like freaking impossible to get off. So we have resolved that this room will be wallpapered, and we'll have that done professionally, mainly because the wallpaper is gonna have to go like all the way up there, and we just don't have the tools to do that properly. So yeah, that's happening. Later on, I'm gonna do something nice with this space, and Francis and I are thinking about actually turning this space into some sort of bar. We're also thinking about creating kind of an understair storage / nook there. Probably actually walling it off and making a little door, like a little custom door, kind of like a little hobbit hole or something. But that'll be done later. Bathroom is pretty much done. We're experiencing some mildew issues because of the moisture and nobody living in here. But again, as soon as things like the lights and stuff are done, we've already put up the wallpaper, and there's just a few areas that probably need some like touch-up paint on the ceiling. But for the most part, this room is pretty much done. I'm debating whether we're gonna paint this kind of this brown color that goes with the rest of the wood that's been painted in the house, or if we're just going to paint it white. Same with the door. They had actually painted it blue on the outside, and I'm worried that getting all that off would be really, really hard. This is what it would have looked like. This has not been painted. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about that. Bathroom is almost done. We are wallpapering this room and then just throwing in like a little tiny cabinet sink, and that should finish up that space. In the bedroom, because the bedroom has this funky sheetrock, it's not really sheetrock, it's actually these like giant, thick pieces of plaster, like plaster tile. Because of those, we're probably going to end up wallpapering this room, or at the very least wallpapering those walls. I mean, we can paint this, but these are really kind of challenging, I think, to paint and make it look nice. Yeah, so we're probably going to wallpaper. Closet has been completely sheetrocked, so as soon as the lights are in, we're just going to slap the paint primer on there and again call it a day. We're very eager to get into this house and get things finished. Let's see, upstairs in Francis's room, nothing much is going to happen. We're basically, again, like we have some mildew issues from the roof, but we're pretty much just planning on repainting the space and calling it a day. Same with the toy room. We definitely don't want to keep the green and yellow. So yeah, so that basically just needs paint, potentially some electrical. Up here, we have the start of a toilet room. There's a little toilet. That's actually the toilet that was downstairs, so we put it up here just so that we had a second toilet while the bottom one was being done. But we're basically going to be ripping that out, redoing the floor, getting some tile in here, taking the wallpaper down, because I think we're probably gonna re-wallpaper. But now that I look at it, the wallpaper's not that bad, so maybe we'll just keep it. Who knows? Who knows? Downstairs in the salon, again, the main thing that needs to happen is electrical. I wanted desperately to bust into this because I have a feeling there's probably a wooden mantle behind that, but we've decided not to do that, at least not right now, because we want to get in the house. So there might be some things that we do after we're in, or at least explore doing. In here, this is my room. We obviously need to sheetrock that. I'm gonna, Francis is gonna angle grind the little thingies, because this used to be a door, so that's the door frame. So he's gonna grind those off. And then we're actually just planning on keeping this and turning it into a really nice, like that'll be the frame for whatever shelving thing goes in there. I'm just gonna be repairing the walls in here and probably just doing like a plaster coat of something, because this is going to be my like plant room, animal room, aquarium room, everything room. It has a really nice door to the outside, and we're pretty much considering this space the transition space between the indoors and the outdoors. So there will be a door here, and then this, the salon, will be the official part of the inside. And then similarly to Francis's barn, we have the double doors for insulation and noise control. So the wooden door on the inside and this metal door on the outside. And this is his transition indoor-outdoor space so that he can work with all of his big boy toys and hopefully not be too loud inside. In here we have a lot of work to reinforce the walls and make it a little bit more weather and animal proof. There are sections of this wall that are very, very weak. You can see where they've actually already tried to do some repairs under this beam, which makes us kind of nervous. So we're actually going to be planning on reinforcing the walls and putting new beams to support each of these, which, as you can see, holds up the roof. So we definitely do not want those bad boys falling down. And like I say, they did try to do some sort of like concrete repair in the clay tiles here, presumably because that one had started to sag and have issues. And it may have actually fallen at some point, because you can see over here, it's configured very differently up there than the adjacent or the rest of the beams, which are done quite differently. So we're not sure what happened, but something happened, and we just feel better if we go ahead and add some other support beams underneath there. Out in the yard, there's obviously tons of stuff to do, but we'll probably mostly do that once we're in. And yeah, that's where we're at. So, out in the garden, I've basically been limited on my shoulder to weeding and watering, which kind of sucks, but I have a scan scheduled for next week, so we'll see what's going on with the shoulder. In the garden, the squash are growing like crazy and starting to send their tentacles out all over the plastic, which is gonna prove to be a challenge because the next bed that I'm digging up is gonna be right in here. So yeah, we'll see how that works. Next year, these things are definitely not going in these beds. I read somewhere that some people have like melon mounds or squash mounds. So I'm thinking maybe like, somewhere else, I'll basically create mounds and the squash and zucchini can grow out from a mound and then trail off wherever they want to go. Eggplant is making eggplant. We harvested an eggplant the other day. Tomatoes still aren't really doing much. Got kind of a late start on the tomatoes. I think those over there are the ones that I transplanted that voluntarily came up from elsewhere in the garden. So cherry tomatoes, and I have a few that are almost ready. And then that bushy thing and these two things were tomatoes that I grew from seed from the first group. And then I planted some other seeds, so we may have some other tomatoes popping up, but we still have the basil and some peppers that are coming from seeds. These are all the peppers that I bought, so they're doing really well. Pulled out the fava beans way over there because apparently those were winter vegetables, so they didn't really do that well anyway. Oh well, live and learn. Yeah, and so the plan here is one more bed there, and then a path, and then another bed that will go along here. It'll be almost the same depth or length as this one. So if you just kind of follow that clear across, I think theoretically the end of the bed will still be on this side of the pole here. But there won't be a path that goes all the way in, which is fine because I don't foresee going back in there. And then from the gate, this will be the main path. through the center, and then there's this other path that we created here, which will kind of go up the middle to that gate over there. Originally I was gonna double dig a whole bunch of beds, but seeing as like the squash really don't need a bed because they just kind of make themselves at home wherever, I'm gonna stop with just these two. So we'll have 4 matching little rectangle beds, and from that point out will be more, you know, organic, whatever ends up getting planted. I am going to be planting 2 apple trees, probably one in the corner there, and maybe like another one around here. So those are definitely going to go up in this area. And then we do have our fig tree already that his sister gave us, and we'll be planting a bunch more trees down this property, down this west property line. So those should be nice when they come in and be a nice complement to all the squash. We are definitely getting a ton of squash. Not so much any of the other things, at least not yet. We do have 1 beetroot there and some carrots that are probably almost ready. And I've been picking the arugula, just leaf picking the arugula. But yeah, we've had a ton of the round zucchinis and a few of the longer zucchinis. So that's pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to the tomatoes coming in, and the peppers we have harvested some, but we should get more. The snap peas are basically only creating enough for me to eat while I'm in the garden. So maybe next year I'll plant more of those, but we'll see.